Hey guys, now it's time to show off the Mario games I've picked up. There's tons of Mario games. I think I pretty much doubled my Mario collection in the past couple months or so. A lot of these games I bought at MCM and then some I bought somewhere else. A couple new ones in here. Yeah, so I've got about over 50 Mario games now. Recently I had about 20 something and I've made loads of progress to my collection. So we'll start off here with Mario and Yoshi for the NES. This one's a little bit more sought after than the... well, it's a little bit more uncommon than the Game Boy version. It's a little bit more valuable. And it's just a simple puzzle game where you have to swap the blocks and then match them up. Or you can get a Yoshi egg and... like if you put a Yoshi egg at the bottom and then a Yoshi egg at the top, it'll swallow the whole row. It's not... I don't find this game that enjoyable. It's an okay puzzle game. I'm a huge puzzle game fan, but this one is not my favourite, to be honest. It's hard to explain what this game is, but you can probably see from the gameplay how to play it. It's an alright game, but I'm glad to have it in my collection, so yeah, that's that. I also need to pick up the Game Boy version of that soon. And now we have a absolute massive essential game that you need to have in your collection. I haven't been able to tap into these consoles until recently because I didn't own them. These are consoles that were kind of before my time. Anyway, enough yapping, let's show the game. Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. Recently I released a video of top 10 2D platformers, and this came in at number 1. And I played this game a ton on the GBA, on the Wii Virtual Console, and now I've finally picked up the actual game itself. Cartridge, inbox, complete, everything. And it's a fantastic game. If you want to find out just how fantastic it is, then watch that video. But if you've played Super Mario World, you know it's a great game. Brilliant platformer. One of the best. My favourite 2D platformer. Really happy to have it. And another one that was on that list that I didn't have a physical version of, also for Super Nintendo, is Donkey Kong Country. This came in at number 7 on my list, and you know what a fantastic game it is. Great atmosphere, great graphics, great music, great gameplay. Absolute brilliant game. Love Donkey Kong Country as well as Super Mario World. Next up here we have Super Mario All-Stars, which is a port of Mario Bros 1, 2, 3 and Lost Levels. It's an upgraded port of these NES games, and they've updated with better graphics. What's weird though is that they don't all play the same. They've all still got a different, unique graphic style, like the NES games did, which is surprising. They put a lot of effort into making the game still stand out and not all feel the same. I also want to get the version of this that comes with Super Mario World. That's a little bit more uncommon, but I'm really looking forward to that as well. Next up, another Super Nintendo game, we have Super Mario Kart. Now, after having this game, I've now played every Mario Kart game. I never actually played this game until I bought this version. And it plays similar to the Game Boy Advance version, but you can't drift or anything. There's no drifting, it's really basic, but it's still a lot of fun. It's kind of weird to me how they split the screen between your map and your actual, playing the game. I think it works pretty well though, and some of the items in this seem a bit useless, so like the Tanuki leaf. It lets you jump, but it's only useful on certain courses that have shortcuts. But yeah, this is a really good game. It's probably, Mario Kart just gets better, to be honest. Every Mario Kart game that comes out, they improve it. So this is still a fun one to go back and play though. It's got a really good retro feel and it's a whole lot of fun. Lastly, for Super Nintendo, I recently just did an unboxing of this. We have the big box version of Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. And so I wanted to get Yoshi's Island for a while, but knowing that this existed, I didn't want to pounce on the smaller box version. This comes with the smaller box inside anyway. I've done an unboxing. If you want to watch the unboxing of this, it comes with a big player's guide. And this also was on my top 10 2D platformers. It came in at number 8. A really fantastic game, brilliant graphics. Well, I was surprised when I went back and played this because I haven't actually played the original version until now. A lot of the time I played the GBA version. his sound effects are quite different, but the gameplay and the graphics are pretty much the same. The music's better and the graphics are better on this version, so this is the superior version of this game, and it's a fantastic Super Nintendo game, so go back and check that out if you haven't played Yoshi's Island. Fantastic game. Next up for Nintendo 64, my only Nintendo 64 game out of the lot, we have Diddy Kong Racing, and I think that I forgot before in my last episode of games I bought recently when I was talking about going for a complete Mario collection. What I meant by that was Mario and everything Mario, like Mario, Donkey Kong, Yoshi, Wario, any subset of Mario games I also want to get. I want to get the whole lot. So here we have Diddy Kong Racing, which was another game I never got to play as a kid, even though I grew up with a Nintendo 64. So I only just recently played this. This was also in my backlog. I've already finished it. Great game. Great racing game. It's up there with Crash Team Racing, although I think I prefer Crash Team Racing. But this is more similar to Crash Team Racing than it is Mario Kart 64. But I'll talk more about that in my review of the game. Next up we have some Game Boy games here. We have Dr. Mario for Game Boy. This is up there with Tetris, you know, for popular puzzle games. I don't like this nearly as much as Tetris. I find it a little bit too difficult. Like, when you stack a colour onto the colour of the thing, you'll end up accidentally screwing yourself over by stacking another colour, and it gets really confusing. Although I watched my friend play this the other day, and he seemed really good at it, and I was like, I'm good at some puzzle games, but I suck at Dr. Mario. Also, on the Game Boy, I don't think this works well at all on the black and white Game Boy. It's really hard because on the NES, you know, you've got the red, yellow, and blue viruses, but on the Game Boy, they're not coloured, so because it's black and white, you have a black virus, a white virus, and then a white one with dots on, and it's a little bit harder to decipher what's what. So the NES version is definitely the superior version of Dr. Mario. Next up we have Super Mario Land for the Game Boy. This was one of the first Mario games I played ever. I remember when we were going on holiday to Mallorca, my cousin lent us some of her Game Boy games, and one of them was Super Mario Land. I think there was also Super Mario Land 2 and Donkey Kong Land, and it was like, this game's really short, but I got so much out of this game. Probably because I didn't complete it as a kid. I thought it was a bit too hard. Even though playing it now, it's not that hard, but I was a kid, so what are you going to do? But this game's so bizarre. Like, it's not weird to me because this was my first Mario game. So, my first Mario 2D platformer I played at least. So when I played it, I was like, yeah, sure, you know, lions and floating heads, yeah, that's what Mario is. And then, obviously, I grew up to play other Mario games, and I didn't really make the connection about how weird this game was. I kind of just, this was what it was. But I couldn't imagine like someone actually going back and playing this after playing the original 3 Mario Bros on the NES, because the physics is so weird. It barely plays like a Mario game. Like, fireballs will fly all over the place, and when you jump, it's like it goes super gravity and you just fall down really fast. But I still think it's a really fun game, even though it's completely crazy. Like, you've got ninjas and stuff running around. It makes no sense at all. But it's a really fun game, and it serves its place in the Mario series. It was a launch game for the Game Boy, so maybe this wasn't even a Mario game at first. Maybe they just slapped Mario on it last minute to make it sell, and it's one of the best selling Game Boy games, so, you know, smart move. Super Mario Land 2 really got it back to where it was, even though it still feels really different. Moving on to some Game Boy Advance games, I almost have the full series of Super Mario Advance games now. We have here Super Mario Advance 1, which includes Super Mario Bros. 2 and Mario Bros. And this is a fantastic remake of the original Super Mario Bros. 2. It's added in voice acting, it's added in better controls, more defined characters. It feels a lot more like a Mario game than Super Mario Bros. 2 did. And it's definitely the superior version. And the remake of Mario Bros on this is really fun as well. I remember as a kid, me and my brother, we played Mario Bros on these advanced games, probably more than we played the actual games. But I remember getting this for Christmas one day, and it was just after I got my Game Boy Advance, and I got Mario Kart as well. And this game, I really loved this game because it was so long, and it was so much to do in it, and it's just a really fun game. Obviously I've gone back now for the Virtual Console and play the original game, but this is the superior port and it's a much better version. Really great game this is. It really makes Super Mario Bros. 2 feel like a Mario game. Next up is Super Mario Advance 3 Yoshi's Island. I haven't got the second one yet, but here I've got this one. And like I was talking about Yoshi's Island, this is pretty much, it's got a lot, it's another remake, but it's less advanced than the other two. This is more of a port because it really doesn't change much at all. It has added in voices, like with Yoshi, he sounds like Yoshi. Besides that though, it's really pretty much the same game. There hasn't been too many changes at all. And then next we have Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3. I like with Yoshi, comparing this to the NES version, it feels very updated, it's got voice acting and stuff. But comparing it to the All-Stars version, this is kind of a port of the Super Mario All-Stars version. Again, doesn't really have many updates. It's got a few level design changes, but it pretty much feels like the same game, although it has included like a Mario Luigi mode, so you can play one player and you can alternate between Mario and Luigi, which I think is pretty cool. But besides that, it's pretty much the same game as Mario Bros. 3, which, you know, is a fantastic game. And that was also the first version of Mario Bros. 3 I played, because I got it on the GBA probably for a birthday or something, and really dug that game, and now I gotta go back and get the NES version, of course. Lastly for Game Boy Advance we have Wario Land 4. I really love Wario Land 2. This is a little different. The levels are more open and it's more open to exploration, which was one thing I liked about Wario Land 2, but I also like the sense of direction in that you're kind of guided. It's not a worse game by any means, but I don't like it that much as Wario Land 2. But the updated graphics and stuff, it looks really good. It's a great addition to the series, but probably one of my least favourites. I prefer the simplicity of the other Wario Land games. But yeah, it's a good game, Wario Land 4. Yeah, good. I like it. Next, moving on to some DS games, we have the last piece of the puzzle for the Yoshi's Island series. I've got Yoshi's Island DS. After I picked up the Game Boy Advance version and the Super Nintendo version of the first game, I now have a complete Yoshi's Island collection, although I do need to get Yoshi's Story. But this game is pretty good. I don't know why, but I didn't like it as much as the original Yoshi's Island. You know, I played this as a child. When it first came out, I got it for Christmas, and you know, I loved the original Yoshi's Island. I played it on GBA and thought, yeah, this has got to be just as good. The gimmick to this game is that you can play as the different babies, and they all have different abilities, which I think is great. I love it. But you can only play as Wario and Bowser for like 4 levels, whereas the main game focuses on Mario, Peach and Donkey Kong. You can swap between them on the fly, and I don't know why they didn't let you do that for Wario and Bowser. But yeah, for some reason I just didn't like this game as the first one. I'm not sure what it was, because actually going back and playing it now, I thought, yeah, this game isn't too bad. This game's actually really fun. It's a great sequel to the original Yoshi's Island. Plays the same, except for the new mechanics, and yeah, I think it's really good. Not sure why as a kid I didn't like it as much. I still think the first one is the best in the series, but this is a great sequel, so if you like Yoshi's Island, gotta grab this on the DS. Actually, another thing I did notice about this game is that it's got a blind spot where the 2 screens connect. So because the whole stage is filled up on the top screen and the bottom screen, like the bottom screen is the lower part of the stage, top screen is the top. Sonic Rush did it as well, but it didn't have a blind spot. And games that do that mechanic on the DS, what you tend to find is that when you go up onto the top screen or you go down to the bottom screen, like the top half of your character can be on the top screen and the bottom half, there's no blind spot. So the different pixels, it all feels like it's all connected. But on an actual DS, there's that little bar between the screens, so you can tell that it's not connected, so it looks really weird. This game has a blind spot where there's the middle of the screen, it's kind of hard to explain, the middle of the screen is, they've added in like a black line across the thing, so when you do go up, Yoshi actually disappears behind that little bar, and then, so you don't get half a character on one screen, half a character on the bottom. It's really hard to explain. If you've played it, you might know what I mean. But that was a pet peeve I had on the DS, where if a game didn't have a blind spot, you'd have half character on top, half character on bottom. This one does have a blind spot, so it's more realistic, I'd say. But then it's also, it gets annoying when like little cloud, question mark clouds will disappear behind the blind spot, and then you can't see where you're throwing the egg, and some puzzles will disappear behind the blind spot. So it has its advantages, it has its disadvantages. You might not understand all what I'm saying. It's really hard to get through what it is. So yeah, I'll just figure out. This game's got a blind spot, and it works in some points, it doesn't work sometimes. Anyway, moving on from that, we have Super Mario 64 DS, and I'd like to say that this game is much more of a remake than it is a port, because they've added in 3 entire new characters. This was a launch game on the DS, and it was actually the first way I played Super Mario 64. The main character in this game actually starts off as Yoshi, and then you go and save Mario, you save Luigi, you save Wario, and I love the fact that you can play through the original Super Mario 64 as these 4 different characters, and some characters have different levels based on the new attributes that they have. Like Luigi can jump higher and he can use different abilities to Wario. Wario is more powerful. Yoshi can actually swallow enemies and throw the eggs. It's a fantastic remake. 30 more stars to collect. It's an absolute great addition to the Super Mario 64. It's good that they didn't just port the same game. They've actually updated it and made it brilliant. This is a great version of Mario 64, and if you like the original, the DS version is an absolute must-have. Absolute great game. Next we have Mario vs Donkey Kong 2, March of the Minis, and I remember playing this game when I was younger. This game is, it took the series in a completely different direction, the Mario vs Donkey Kong series. Originally, you know, you had Donkey Kong on the Game Boy, which was like a big kind of puzzle platforming game. And then Mario vs Donkey Kong on the GBA took that and made it, you know, bigger and better. And then this took it and you play as the mini Marios instead of actually playing as Mario trying to save the mini Marios. And it's more of a Lemmings style game. Which isn't a bad thing. It's fun, but I did prefer that platforming puzzle style of the Mario vs Donkey Kong and the original Donkey Kong on the Game Boy. That's now gone, and now we're left with the Lemmings style games. Every game that's come out after this has been just straight puzzle Lemmings type game, which you control. On this game you control with the touchscreen. There's a new one coming out on the Wii U. Not bad, but I really it's such a shame that we can't have the puzzle platforming style Mario vs Donkey Kong games, because that was my preferred game. But these games are still fun, so there's Mario vs Donkey Kong 2 on the DS. Last up for DS games we have a launch game for the DS, WarioWare Touched, and one of the best WarioWare games. This is a whole lot of fun. You can use the touchscreen in different ways. Each new character that you play as, they all have their different ways of playing with the touchscreen. Like there's touch, there's drag, there's swipe, and you can even use the microphone for Mike's minigames. And they're a lot of fun. The WarioWare series is great, and this is one of the best of the series. So go pick this up. It's really cheap if you haven't played it, if you have a DS. Absolute great game. Love WarioWare Touched. And then lastly, for portable stuff, we have the newly released Mario Golf World Tour. And this is, I want to say this is my favourite Mario Golf game. It probably is. I really enjoyed playing through the tournaments. The online mode of this is fantastic. Like there's tournaments you can play, you can upload your scores, or you can just play against people around the world in versus modes. And it's fun. It's really fun. I love this game. It's one of the best golf games I've played. What's disappointing though is the Castle Club. I thought that would be a lot better than it was, because I've always preferred the portable Mario Golf games to the console ones, because they always implement RPG elements. And then when they showed the trailers for Castle Club, I thought, wow, this is going to be like Advanced Tour, but you can play as your Mii, you can level up, and it's going to be great. Unfortunately, it turns out it wasn't like that at all. There's only 3 tournaments that you can play as your Mii, and you can't level them up. It just turns out it's when you unlock costumes, you can raise his stats or lower his stats, depending on what kind of character you want. So it's completely different to what I thought it was going to be, and a little disappointing. But the Mario Golf section of this game is still fun. There's tons of stars you can collect, and I got all the DLC for this. So I've got Rosalina, Toadette and Nabbit, and they're all fun characters to play as. All the new courses are fun. Unfortunately though, the DLC courses are based on Nintendo 64 courses. They're kind of just ports of them. Although they are remade and have got different themes, like one of them will be based on New Super Mario Bros. U, one will be based on Mario Galaxy. So they do feel kind of new, but they're not completely new, so it feels like a little bit of a cash-in, to be honest. So I want to say this is my favourite, but there's just some things that rub me the wrong way about this game. So if you like golf games, and this is a fantastic golf game, if you don't like golf games and you just like fun Mario games, I don't know if this is really the game for you. It might be fun, but I wouldn't wholeheartedly recommend it if you're not like somewhat into golf. But I thought it was really good, and I really enjoyed this one, despite its flaws. Following up from Mario Golf World Tour, I got Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, which I really enjoyed when I had it before. I've noticed now that a lot of games that I pick up I've already owned. That's what you get when you trade in loads of games as a kid. But I really enjoyed this game when I first played through it as a kid, and playing through it again, it's still as good as it was. I really like some of the characters you can unlock, like Shadow Mario and stuff, and I really like playing the versus mode against other characters. But it's hard to play multiple golf games at once. Like, because I picked up this, and I picked up Mario Golf World Tour, and I picked up Everybody's Golf 2, all around the same time. Since they all have slightly different mechanics, even though this is made by Camelot, so is Mario Golf World Tour, they still have slightly different mechanics. So you get really used to one game, and you can't then go and play another golf game in the series. So I sucked at this when I tried to play it, because I played so much Mario Golf World Tour. But it's still a fun game, really good graphics on the GameCube as well. Hopefully they release a Mario Golf game on the Wii U. And I'd love for the console games to implement some of the handheld features, like the RPG elements, because my favourite one probably is Mario Golf Advance Tour, just because of the RPG stuff. And even though it introduces different characters that aren't part of the Mario series, it's still a really great game. So yeah, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour is pretty fun. Next up we have Mario Power Tennis. I don't enjoy this game as much as I did when I originally owned it. And I think the reason that is because the way the tournaments are set out and the way you actually progress through the game, it's a little too simple, it's a little basic, and it's a little boring for a Mario game, to be honest. But the exhibition mode and stuff like that, the actual gameplay of the tennis itself, it's really fun. The addition of power moves is what is really great about it. Like, you can use a power move to either save yourself because the ball's too far away and there's no way you can get it, or you can use it as an offensive type move. And it's really great. The characters in this are really fun as well. Like, you can unlock, I think this is the game where you can unlock Wiggler and Fly Guy and some really bizarre characters that you wouldn't normally see in a Mario game. Pretty cool game. I also need to get this on the Wii. And then last up for GameCube, we have an excellent GameCube game, a launch title, one that I did have and I've played to death originally when I first owned it. Luigi's Mansion. What a fantastic game! Like, it's a survival horror game. The element is fun rather than challenge and actual, survival. Which, both versions, have their positives. They're both fantastic. But the Luigi's Mansion is something incredibly unique that you probably won't see from anyone besides Nintendo. It's really fun, the gameplay of just flashing a light on the ghosts and then sucking them up with a hoover, the kind of Ghostbusters rip-off type gameplay. It's got some good humour. It can be pretty creepy. I remember being pretty scared of this game as a kid because of the dark lighting and some of the enemies, like the baby. And some of the bosses are kind of hard as well. It's also fun going through and getting all the boos and getting 100% of this, because there's some hidden stuff in here as well. It's a really fun game, Luigi's Mansion. I need to check out the 3DS one for sure. Okay, now we have some Wii games. We have Super Mario Galaxy 2, and I've mentioned before about how big of a fan I am of the original Super Mario Galaxy. But when this came out, I didn't have a Wii. I got rid of it and got an Xbox 360. So I kind of passed up on this and I only just got around to play it now. But my fears that I had of it originally kind of came to fruition when I actually played it. It's pretty much, it feels like Mario Galaxy DLC. It's the same type of gameplay, it's the same engine, it's pretty much the exact same game with more levels, which isn't a bad thing because the first one was a great game. But this doesn't stand up on its own like Mario 64 Sunshine and Galaxy did. So there are some good elements in here, like it implements Yoshi and the new power-ups, but it's really not enough to make itself feel like its own game. and I've heard that apparently this game's a bit too easy. But as long as it's fun, as long as it's, you know, just as good as the original Mario Galaxy, then when I get around to actually playing through this fully, then I'm sure I'll enjoy it. And it does look, you know, as good as Mario Galaxy looks. Next up we have another sequel game, another kind of copycat game. We have New Super Mario Bros. Wii. And like with Mario Galaxy 2, this kind of just felt like the same, added it, just updated. This one's got 4-player, and it's also got Yoshi updated. Apparently Yoshi is the go-to thing when they want a new element. It's just as good as the DS one. I don't like it as much as the DS one, because the handheld versions of this really feel better, to be honest, because of the type of gameplay that it is. But the multiplayer is fun. You can really dick over your friends, because you can always pick them up and throw them in the lava or the holes if they don't know how to. It's still a fun game. The graphics are pretty nice, and it kind of works on the Wii, I guess. Not really much to say about this game, to be honest. It's pretty good. Next up we have a Donkey Kong game. We have Donkey Kong Jungle Beat on the Wii, and there is no point in getting this game if you have the GameCube version. I don't currently have the GameCube version, but I did own it, and it's so much fun to play with the bongos. If that's the only way to play this game, in my opinion. This game just kind of updates it with regular controls, as well as some shaking the Wii remote mechanics. The gameplay itself, it kind of feels like a new Donkey Kong Country game, but also stands out on its own because, well, it stands out on its own because of the bongo controls and how it's really score based. But the Wii version doesn't have that uniqueness to it, so I don't really recommend the Wii version. If you're going to get it, you've got to pick it up with the GameCube version and the bongos. It's a bit more expensive, but it's 100% more worth it. So I don't currently own them, I have to pick them up myself. And then lastly for the Wii we have Mario Sports Mix, and this is developed by Square Enix as the Mario Slam Basketball was. So it shares a lot of the same elements for that. You've got 4 sports in here: dodgeball, basketball, hockey and volleyball. And they play like you'd think they were from Mario versions. They're pretty much the regular sports plus items and stuff and Mario characters and kind of zany special moves and stuff. Some of them are pretty fun. There's also an added element which was in the Mario Slam Basketball on the DS. I think it's called Mario Hoops 3-on-3 in America. But there's an added element where if you collect coins you can add to your score. And some of them are really fun, like the dodgeball. I didn't think that would be fun at all, I thought they'd be really boring, but it's actually a lot of fun. This game's really good, and if you can get it cheap, I'd recommend it. It's not one of the best Mario sports games, but it's still good. We've seen some of these sports before, like basketball we've seen before. Volleyball and hockey were both in Mario Party. Like there was a really in-depth beach volleyball in one of the Mario Parties on the GameCube. But these are updated for the Wii, so, and they've got their own special Square Enix type of spin to them. So it's a lot of fun. Unfortunately you can't unlock Final Fantasy characters like you could in the basketball and the DS, but pretty cool game for the Wii. It was really good pickup. And then last but not least we have one of the biggest releases of the past few months, and it's Mario Kart 8. And of course I picked up the limited edition, which I'll do an unboxing of now. If you pre-ordered it, you also got this t-shirt that I'm currently wearing, as well as the red shell keyring. And then the limited edition comes with this big blue, the spiny shell on a little stand. Now I'm just going to come out and say that this game is the best Mario Kart game, but it's not without its flaws, which every Mario Kart game comes with its flaws. Alright, I'll start with the good. The gameplay mechanics, it's the best, it's the most smoothest running Mario Kart to date. The new anti-gravity things are really great. The items are good, like the piranha plant is so useful. The boomerang's fun, even though I suck. I can't aim with it at all. And the sound box that you can now actually destroy spiny shells makes it a whole lot more fun and a lot more fair. The online is amazing. It's completely updated, very fluent. I've heard some people have had problems getting connected, but personally I've had no problems. It runs really smoothly, 60 frames per second at 1080p HD. The graphics are amazing. It's really the best Mario Kart game. The only downsides that I think the game has are the way that you unlock characters. I really loved the Wii version, since there was so many different things that you had to do in order to unlock characters. Like unlocking Dry Bowser, you had to beat all the staff ghost times, which was so hard, but I actually did it. On this though, it's just so simple. Like, you just have to beat each cup and then you unlock a character at random, which I'm not a huge fan of. And there was something else that I didn't like, but I can't really remember. Some of the updated stages. I really love that they've been including retro stages ever since the DS one, and they've been some of my favourite elements from the games. But the updated stages in this, some of them are great, most of them are great to be honest, but some of them aren't. For some reason they're just not as good. Like Rainbow Road on the 64, it's now just like one lap now. Like it's known for being one of the longest courses in any Mario Kart game. On the 64 it had 3 laps, but on this it's now just it's now split into sections, and so it's kind of like just one lap of the 64 one. So it's now one of the shortest courses, which is really weird. And then there's a couple other tracks like Moo Moo Meadows. It's now gritty and HD, and it looks like Gears of War because it is really brown and not as colourful, which is weird. It's like you wouldn't think it looks worse in HD, but in my opinion it does. Same as I think it's Dry Desert on the GameCube, doesn't look as good. But besides those little nitpicks, gameplay wise, it's the best Mario Kart. It's hands down, and it's just as simple as that. If you have a Wii U, you have to get this game, and some people might actually go out and buy a Wii U just for this game, and it's probably worth it because it's a really great game. I don't think it's my favourite Wii U game. I still prefer Mario 3D World and a couple others, but it's one of the best on the system, and the best Mario Kart, definitely. One of the funnest games to come out recently on any of the new 3 systems, so yeah, it's a fantastic game. I absolutely love Mario Kart 8. So there you have it, there's all my Mario pickups recently. I probably won't get as much Mario games in the next games I bought recently, or any in the future, as I have now. This is quite an abnormality. But, yeah, I'm really happy with all the stuff I got here, and I hope you enjoyed watching my updates to my Mario collection, as well as my updates to my other collections and stuff. So, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video.